Welcome to TEIMAS Talks. I'm Perla Gándara, and today we are delighted to be joined by Luis Palomino, a recognized voice in the European waste management sector. Luis Palomino is an expert in environmental engineering and management. He has dedicated his professional career to the development of the environmental sector, and since 2007, he has served as Secretary General of ASEGRE, the Spanish Association for Hazardous Waste and Industrial Waste Managers. Alongside his leadership at ASEGRE, Luis Palomino is also a board member of FEAD, the European Waste Management Federation, where he contributes to shaping the future of sustainable waste management across Europe. Luis, thank you very much for joining us on TEIMAS Talks.
Thank you very much to you, Perla, and to TEIMAS in general, and congratulations for your very good work.
Thank you so much. I would like to begin this interview with a look at the European landscape. From your position, what are currently the main concerns of the professional waste sector at EU level?
Okay, from a European perspective, the waste sector faces several key challenges in 2025. One of the most pressing is the lack of harmonization among member states, particularly in the application of the regulations and criteria, especially regarding waste shipments and end-of-waste criteria. Diverging standards persist, creating legal uncertainty and hindering efficient management planning. Our companies also need to adapt to the new requirements of the packaging waste regulation, packaging waste regulation, and the implementation of extended producer responsibility to the commercial and industrial packaging waste. Another global issue affecting the sector is the risk management, which arises from the appearance of unexpected waste in or the inherent risk of certain waste types, like lithium batteries. To address these issues, the European Commission has recently launched a public consultation for the Circular Economy Act, and our sector is actively participating. In fact, a few months ago, we presented a recommendation document, we in FEAD, and we had a meeting, some responsible from FEAD with Jessica Roswell, the European Commissioner for Environment, and in that recommendation document, we outlined some priorities for the future law or the future act. For example, to promote the demand for European recycling materials by setting binding recycled content targets and offering tax reduction reactions as incentives, economical incentives, manage hazardous substances in recycling through restrictions and decontamination technologies, adopt end-of-waste criteria at European level to facilitate cross-border trade, or another proposal was to reduce or to address the problem of the fire risk from lithium batteries by implementing several measures, such as establishing a battery fire prevention and recovery fund, introducing a deposit return system for batteries, or banning disposable products with embedded batteries that we can found in some electronic devices. No?
Okay, that really helps paint a clear picture of the broader context. And more concretely, in your role at FEAD and ASEGRE, how do you view the influence of industry associations in shaping European waste policy?
Associations play a fundamental role in developing effective policies. Our work involves conveying the technical and operational voice of the sector to lawmakers, ensuring that regulations are business realistic, applicable, and aligned with environmental goals. At the European level, we work through our federation, FEAD, actively engaging with the European institutions like the European Commission and the European Parliament. And in Spain, ASEGRE works directly with public administrations and the national and regional parliaments to advocate for a robust circular economy based on waste recovery and technological innovation. Our influence has grown thanks to increased professionalization and the consolidation of European networks. However, we still need to improve coordination between countries and strengthen dialogue with national governments to ensure coherent implementation of EU policies.
And now, Luisa, we are talking about European waste policy. We recently spoke in TEIMAS Talks about the new European Waste Shipment Regulation. Based on your experience, how do you think it will impact the management of hazardous waste specifically?
It's a very important regulation. This regulation represents a significant step forward, but also represents challenges. For hazardous waste, it requires stricter traceability, which entails investments in digitalisation and document control. It also significantly restricts the shipment of hazardous waste for disposal operations. It is important to consider that hazardous waste are treated in specialist facilities. Sometimes are so specialist that we can find in every country, no? in every EU member state. So that waste must be shipped to other countries, and it's very common that move inside our country. So it's very important that movement because the specialization of the facilities. Besides, we need to improve the administrative agility in this area. And at ASEGRE, we believe the regulation can enhance safety and transparency, but only if it's applied in a coordinated and proportionate manner, avoiding unnecessary bureaucratic burdens that could hinder efficient management. It is also important to avoid repeating mistakes made in Spain regarding the waste traceability electronic platforms. And regarding those electronic platforms, considering that are operated by public administrations and that these administrations will become service providers for, in that case, because they operate those platforms, those electronic platforms. So they will become service providers for waste producers and waste management operators. So they must adopt a different role that they are accustomed to. So they must adopt a customer-oriented mindset. This involves respecting the timelines and efficiency required by the sector. Otherwise, they risk negatively impacting the overall economic activity of the member states and in general the European Union.
That's really insightful. And on a related note, I would like to ask you about one of the most commonly mentioned challenges, which is the regulatory harmonization across countries. What barriers still remain, and what solutions do you believe could help bring about greater consistency at European level?
Yes, the main barriers are legal and administrative. Each country interprets EU regulations differently. For example, the principles, we have only a specific example, like the principles of proximity and self-sufficiency, or the concept of end of waste, or the facility authorization criteria and treatment requirements. So it is essential to strengthen the role of the European Commission as a technical coordinator, promoting interpretative guidelines and best practices.
That point is particularly relevant because to what extent do you feel that European legislation supports the sector or rather burdens it with excessive bureaucracy?
Yes, the European legislation has very good intentions and very ambitious goals, but its implementation can sometimes become overly bureaucratic. This is especially evident in shipment procedures and facility requirements. And the sector needs clear, agile, and proportionate rules that allow environmental goals to be met without hindering economic activity. At ASEGRE, we advocate for legislation that supports innovation, encourage investment, and recognize the strategic role of waste management in the ecological transition. But that legislation has been followed by addressing the human resources in the competent bodies in order that be an agile gamut of all procedures. No?
It's interesting to hear you put it that way. And before we finish, I would like to ask you, what topics do you feel will define ASEGRE's agenda and the waste sector as a whole in the coming years?
Yes, the coming years will be for sure marked by the decarbonization of the economy through clean technologies and energy recovery, the digitalisation of the traceability and document management, to boosting the circular economy, especially in industrial and commercial sector, to deliver higher quantities of recovered materials and greater quality and purity, and in general to adapt to new waste. We face now the case of photovoltaic panels and the wind turbines. So we have to find a way to manage adequately those kind of waste. And in that case, we are facing now the review regulations or the regulation waste electrical and electronic equipment. And additionally, we will continue working to ensure the sector is recognized as a key player in the fight against climate change, a key player in the circular economy, with policies that value its contribution to sustainability.
Thank you, Luis, for these insightful perspectives. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you very much again for joining us at TEIMAS Talks.
Thank you very much, Perla. Thank you very much, TEIMAS, and congratulations for your work and your very good idea of TEIMAS Talks. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone who tuned in. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for more insights into waste management and sustainability. See you next time.